Tonight, story will not only bring you sleep, but will also make you feel something. Have you ever thought about what it means to hear someone cry for help from so far away that by the time the sound reaches you, they might already be gone? It's a strange thought, isn't it? You and I are used to emergencies being loud and close, alarms, phones, sirens. But in space, an SOS can drift for years, thinning out into almost nothing, while the people who sent it cling to the hope that someone, somewhere, is still listening. I've always been fascinated by that tension between caution and conscience. On one hand, you keep your head down so the monsters don't notice you. On the other, a small voice says, if you can help and you don't, what does that make you? It really makes you wonder what kind of future we live in if silence always wins that argument. So tonight, instead of thinking about your to-do list or the last notification on your phone, let your attention drift toward that question. Imagine a future Earth that has chosen to hide in a loud galaxy, very carefully staying small and quiet. Imagine that most people are fine with that bargain. Peace in exchange for invisibility, until one tired, breaking transmission slips through the filters. Get comfortable, because in this story you're not just watching from far away. You're standing with Admiral Marcus Hale, a man who helped design humanity's silence, and Jenna Ortiz, the analyst who hears a 3-year-old distress call under the Rocky Mountains and refuses to file it away as noise. Around them, powerful people will argue about risk, safety, and strategy. And between all of that, there is a single raw question waiting for you too. When someone in the dark says, "Please, we are still here," do you stay hidden? Or do you answer you are not used to hearing someone cry across the stars? You grew up with the soft hiss of ocean waves outside an old apartment in San Diego, and later with the quieter hum of reactors and air filters on warships. You learned to read sensor plots and casualty charts, to speak in calm orders during storms of light and fire. You taught younger officers that a fleet is not a fist. A fleet is a hand that holds and carries. But on a cool night in the year 2187, deep under the Rocky Mountains, a stranger's grief slips into your life. It does not arrive with trumpets or bright signals, not as a challenge or a threat. It arrives as a broken voice, tired and raw, reaching across impossible distance to say, "Please, someone, we are still here." By the time that voice reaches you, Earth has spent 30 careful years trying to be quiet in a loud galaxy. You helped build that quiet. You believe in it. It has kept Earth safe so far. Answering this call might break it. You are Admiral Marcus Hale, United Earth Fleet. When Specialist Jenna Ortiz hears the signal under the mountain, she will drag your name into a debate that will change the place of your homeworld among the stars. You are about to decide whether to stay hidden in the dark or light a small lantern where hunters might see. The room is colder than it needs to be. Fans murmur in the walls. Old rock presses in on all sides, held up by steel and concrete. Rows of black monitors shine with faint blue light. A low ceiling carries thick cables, pipes, and the soft hiss of recycled air. It is midnight shift in the deep space monitoring station under the Rocky Mountains, and almost everyone is half asleep on their feet, except for Jenna Ortiz. She sits forward in her chair, elbows on the console, eyes on a spinning cloud of dots and lines. Her headphones are pulled tight over messy black hair. The room smells like coffee and metal dust. On her screen, the galaxy is only numbers. She is listening for anything that does not belong. Ortiz calls a tired voice from the back. You know nothing interesting comes in at this hour. Take a break. Jenna lifts one hand and shows a small, lazy wave without looking back. We don't know that, Chief, she says. Space does not care about Colorado time. A few people chuckle. It is an old joke down here. The Deep Space Monitoring Station is hidden in what used to be Cold War tunnels. Long before faster-than-light ships or United Earth, missiles were meant to be guided from places like this. Now the missiles are gone. The station listens instead. It listens for any sign that something is coming. Most nights, it hears only the thick noise of the galaxy. Pulsars, stars, old known beacons from trading routes, and nearby friendly worlds, all logged and sorted by the station's main AI clusters. The SMS main line is clear, reports the AI in a smooth, genderless voice. No unregistered FTL signatures. No high-energy events. No new broadcasts above baseline. See? Says Chief Petrov from his corner. Nothing. Again. Jenna chews the inside of her cheek. She taps a command. Her main display shrinks, and an extra window pops up on the side. A raw feed from one of the deep focus narrowband arrays pointing far past the settled bubble of human space. The AI does not bother much with this feed. It is messy and thin. It comes from way out, near the dark gap between the spiral arms. Jenna likes messy. She slows the feed. Lines of numbers crawl down the screen. Tiny blips rise and fall. She closes her eyes for a breath and lets the sounds the computer has turned these signals into wash through her headphones. Soft clicks, slow tones, long stretches of faint hiss. Something ticks wrong. Her eyes snap open. Stop, she says. The display freezes. She scrolls back 3 seconds, then 5. There. A thin spike on the graph, sharp and high, too clean for random noise, too brief for a normal burst. She zooms in. The spike breaks into a pattern of smaller teeth. Her heart rate shifts. She straightens in her chair. Main AI flag segment 493. Epsilon, she says. Run pattern match against catalog. Working, says the AI. A few beats pass. For no signal. No known match in United Earth or Allied signal sets. No known match in hostile or historical logs. Probability of artificial origin, 37%. Chief Petrov sighs. 37 is nothing. Ortiz. Run it again, Jenna says. Shift the base. Assume higher red shift. Stretch the time index. Working, says the AI. Another few seconds. Revised probability of artificial origin, 61%. Now the room lifts its head. Jenna feels a fine tremble in her fingers. She has chased false alarms for 3 years. Random flares from dead stars, reflections from old Imperial wars far away. But this pattern is different. It has repetition. It almost sounds like breathing. Expand, pull, she says. Give me the 2 minutes before and after that hit. Full dynamic range. Audio conversion on my channel. Chief Petrov gets up and walks toward her. He comes to stand behind her chair, arms folded over a faded gray shirt. The sound in Jenna's headphones shifts to a long, low hiss, like wind across a wide plain. Buried in the hiss, something beats in uneven pulses. Hiss. Tick, hiss, tick, tick, hiss. AI, clean it, Jenna says, voice low. Apply adaptive filter, the AI replies. Removing broadband background, the hiss falls away. What remains is a sound like someone trying to talk through broken glass. Short, sharp bursts, some close together, some far apart. A rhythm, but not like music, more like a thought that keeps losing balance and catching itself. Her throat feels dry. She swallows. Ortiz? Petrov asks. His voice is softer now. Mark each burst, she says. Treat them as symbols. Look for structure. Her main screen fills with vertical lines, each one a burst. The AI draws brackets around repeating groups. There is non-random structure, the AI says. Estimated complexity suggests language or encode key. Cannot translate without external reference. Jenna's chair creaks as she leans closer, so close her nose almost touches the glass. Play it slower, she says, the bursts stretch, turning into choppy chunks of sound. Some rise, some fall. There are clear gaps. Her chest tightens. A shape is forming in her mind. Not the content, but the feeling. There is strain in these sounds, a kind of break at the tail of some bursts that makes her own face pull into a slight frown, as if she is hearing someone hold back tears. She knows it is silly, it is data, noise turned into sound. Still, AI, she says, run emotional valence, estimate through prosody filters, using human models. I know it's alien. I know it's dirty. Just give me your best guess. Warning, the AI says, model not valid for non-human or unknown cultures. Estimate will be, I know, just do it. Another pause. On the side screen, a bar goes from cool blue to warmer orange. Estimated emotional charge, high. Closest match to human samples. Grief. Urgency. Fatigue. Petrov pulls in a slow breath. You're kidding, someone mutters from the far station. Jenna hits record on her console. She trims the clip, cleans it again, and then, on a careful instinct, she changes the pitch slightly, bringing the sounds more into the range of a human throat. She does not change the pattern. She does not move the bursts. She hits play. Now, through the static, it almost sounds like a voice. It is not clear. It does not form words in any human tongue, but something about the rise and fall, the way some chunks push out hard and then break off fast, makes the hair on Jenna's arms lift. Even the lazy midnight techs are watching her screen. AI, Jenna says quietly, plot source direction, triangulating from narrow band array alignment and drift. The AI says, lines sweep across a simple, dark map. Source direction roughly consistent with right ascension 16 hours. Declination minus 22 degrees. Distance cannot be measured directly. Based on time drift and redshift, estimated range is between 400 and 800 light years. Outside our settled bubble, Petrov says. His voice is low now. Far outside, the United Earth bubble runs out around 70 light years from Sol. A ring of quiet colonies, mines, and research ships sits beyond that. Beyond those, very little is charted. The great empire's nearest known borders are a few hundred light years further out in a rough band of systems where strange, hard lines of radio once blazed. Jenna's fingers tremble slightly as she enlarges the map. A tiny green dot marks Earth. Another shows Mars. Another the Kuiper Belt platforms. Far out, a pale oval sketches the Empire Zone. Based on long-range listening, her new mark appears between those lines. Not in any file. Repeat scan of that sector. She says, check for prior hits that match this pattern within the last 5 years. Searching. The AI replies. While it searches, Jenna saves 3 copies of the signal into hardened storage. She tags them with her own name and the time, adds a red flag into the DSMS priority ladder. Petrov leans on the back of her chair. Even if it is a distress call, he says it's centuries old. Travel time. Jenna nods, but her jaw is tight. Maybe. Or maybe their transmitter is big enough that what we're seeing is more fresh. If they have FTL side carry or some crazy phase-locked beam. Ortiz. She looks up. Petrov's eyes are gentle and tired. This is way above our pay grade. You know the rules. We package it, we send it up, we let command argue. Estimated 5 prior detections, the AI says. Very low confidence, individual matches. Signal had been below threshold. Treated as noise. Combined pattern suggests this source has been transmitting intermittently for at least 3 years. 3 years. It has been calling for 3 years. And no one noticed. Jenna feels a slow anger, not at anyone here, but at the size of the sky, at the fact that a voice can shout, and distance will turn it into a soft scratch in some analyst's background file. Run burst intervals, she says. Yes, the AI says. Intervals lengthen over time. Power levels drop. Estimated transmitter degradation is at least 20% since first detect. It is getting weaker. That's it, Jenna says quietly. She turns to Petrov. We have to send this higher right now. We always send interesting hits higher, Petrov replies. We've sent 15 in the last 12 months. You know what happened? Nothing. They were pings. Tests. Leftover traffic, Jenna says. She hears her own voice climb and pulls it back down steady. This is not a test. This is a call for help, and it is pointed somewhere near us, or we would never hear it at all. For a moment, the only sound in the room is the air system. Petrov rubs his face. "Fine," he says at last. "Mark it top priority. I'll wake the day chief and the liaison. But after that, it's out of your hands. Don't make this into something it's not." Jenna turns back to her screen. "I'm not," she says, almost to herself. "I'm trying to make sure it gets to someone who can hear what it is. You are on a balcony in San Diego when your secure line pulses. Below you, waves crash quietly along the dark sand. The lights of the coastal barrier flicker in a soft curve. Above, the sky is thin and clear. The Milky Way cuts a bright band of dust across the night. To the west, the silent dots of transport shuttles move between sky and orbit. You wrap your hands around a mug of tea, gone cool. The ceramic feels rough under your fingers. You savor the normal weight of it for one more breath. Except, you say. Your implant warms. A small pane opens in the air before your eyes, hanging there like a ghost window only you can see. The United Earth crest spins once, then resolves into the face of Fleet Director Amrita Shah. Her dark hair is pulled back in a simple knot. Her eyes look more tired than they did last week when you signed off from a 6-month patrol of the Jupiter Gate. "Marcus," she says, "I hope I did not wake you." "You didn't," you say. "I was thinking about not answering calls for at least a month. You have ruined my plan." A brief smile touches her mouth, then fades. "We have something from DSMS," she says. "Ortiz, Jenna, you know the name?" You shake your head. "No, she has flagged a signal. High priority." Preliminary analysis suggests artificial origin, unknown source, emotional carry flagged as distress-like by our pattern tools. The word lands in your mind and settles next to others. Risk, empire, limits, and you're calling me because? You ask softly, because the signal's direction puts it near the outer band of known Imperial territory. Shah says, because if it is a real distress call, the Empire either ignored it or caused it. And because if we respond, Marcus, we may be putting a flare over Earth. You look back at the sea, the dark water rolls, patient and endless. For 30 years, since the first signs of the Empire's long war with its own vassal worlds reached human space, Earth has practiced something like silence. Trade with nearby friendly species runs on tight beams and low-power FTL. Comms. Human ships avoid bright, wide broadcasts in deep space. The idea is simple. Be too small and too quiet to be worth crossing the distance. You helped write those rules. What are our options? You asked. I've called an emergency council, Shah says. United Earth Security Board, Science Assembly. A few of us from Fleet. You, if you agree, as an operations voice. In 2 hours, remote link. You nod. Send me the packet. I'll watch Ortiz's pull. Her eyes soften. You just got back, Marcus. And I just sat down, you answer. Send it anyway. The call drops. The Pacific keeps rolling. For a moment you let yourself remember your grandfather's stories. He used to sit in a chipped lawn chair outside his small house near the old border of a long-gone nation and talk about sirens in the night. Real sirens, not just words. He talked about hiding in shelters while aircraft passed overhead, about the way sound could feel like a hand closing around your chest. He told you once that when a siren went off, and it wasn't a drill, sometimes people froze, not because they didn't know what to do, but because part of their mind refused to believe it was happening again. You joined Fleet because you wanted to be someone who moved anyway, someone who could hear a bad sound and still get up and do something useful. Now you have heard another kind of siren, from far outside the old maps. Your implant pings as the data arrives. A moment later, you hear it, static, and under it, the broken voice. You listen 3 times before you sit down at your simple dining table, wake the house lights, and call into the council channel. The emergency council meets inside a hollow space of gray light. It is not a real room. It is a shared simulation, built from input from a dozen cities spread across Earth and orbit. Around you float soft chairs, transparent tables, pale walls that blur into nothing. Name tags hang in the air over each figure. Fleet Director Amrita Shah sits to your right. Her tag glows pale blue. Across the ring, you see Dr. Sung Park of the Science Assembly, shoulders hunched, hair in disarray. There is Chancellor May Rojas from United Earth Governance, her suit perfectly pressed even in virtual space. There are 6 more familiar faces: defense analysts, exopolicy experts, 1 quiet representative from the Mars settlements. Near the far wall, Jenna Ortiz sits very straight, dark eyes wide. The tag over her head reads, Specialist Jenna Ortiz, DSMS. Thank you all, Chancellor Rojas begins. Her voice is clear and steady. It is 4:12 UTC. We have a single main item. The signal caught by DSMS at 2:37. You have heard the raw and filtered versions. Dr. Park, please give us the brief. Park clears their throat. The signal's structure is non-random, Park says. It shows nested patterns and repeats, with drift consistent with a large degrading source. Our deep models rated at over 90%, likely to be artificial. We see signs that may be language or structured data. Emotional analysis, though unreliable for non-humans, places its tone near grief and urgency. So, source direction? Asks the Mars representative. Park flicks a hand. A star map appears, hanging above the table. A green dot marks Sol. A faint, translucent shell shows human-settled space. Another shadowed band further out shows known Imperial signal regions. A small red diamond appears between. Here, Park says, between 400 and 800 light years. Error bars are large. No known habitable worlds or prior contacts in that line, but close to what we believe is an Empire puppet zone. The signal itself appears to come from a fixed point in space, not a moving ship. Likely a planet, Shah says quietly. Likely, Park agrees. The signal has been active at low levels for at least 3 years. Our arrays only flagged it now because of a recent gain adjustment and Specialist Ortiz manual review. All eyes turn to Jenna. She blinks, caught in the sudden light. Specialist Ortiz, Rojas says, "Do you wish to add anything to Dr. Park's summary?" Jenna's throat moves. She looks at you for a brief second, then down at her hands, then back up. The numbers are all in the packet. She says, her voice is smaller than in your memory of the recording, but steady. "I just want to say that when you listen to it, it feels like someone is very tired and very sad and still trying. Even if I'm wrong about that, someone built something big enough to shout this far. That takes work. They wouldn't do it for nothing." "Thank you," Rojas says kindly. "Now, the problem before us. If we respond, we risk exposing Earth. If we do not, we may be leaving people to die." Fleet Director Shaw's image leans forward slightly. "Our doctrine since the Empire's war reached our ears has been clear," she says. "Low profile, minimal outbound FTL transmissions. Human fleets avoid deep strikes and stay close to the settled bubble. We have not responded to any unknown signals beyond our near neighbors, except for 3 cases where the signal source was within 50 light years. And in those cases," Rojas adds, "we rescued human ships and 1 Allied convoy. No new contacts." "Correct," Shaw says. "This is different. The signal is far and near the Empire's hunting grounds. If we send a ship, we have to cross a lot of space where we are not welcome. Even if we go dark, our drive wakes up local space when we jump. If someone has a tight grid on that area, they might notice something flickering where there was nothing before." You watch the star map as Shaw speaks. It is simple, bubbles and bands. But in your mind, it turns into other things. Traffic flows you have seen in your career. Pilot chatter. Old wreck reports from the few times humans have pushed too close to Imperial lines. The counter-argument. Asks the Mars representative, "We are not sure this is a trap. It could be a real plea for help. And if the Empire is ignoring it, or caused it," Dr. Park cuts in, "then either way, we risk very little additional notice." The Mars rep finishes. "The Empire knows this sector is rich in life. Our silence will not change that, unless they are using this as bait," says another voice. Dry and sharp. You glance toward its source. Defense analyst Kaito Lin leans back in his chair, arms folded. "Explain," Rojas says. "We have old logs from other species," Lin says. "Stories of the Empire's tactics. They have used false distress calls before. They pull in rescuers, follow them home, gain new targets. If that red diamond is a trap, it is a clever one. Heartrending. Noble souls show up. Empire gets new data. Dr. Park shakes their head, frustrated, or it is simply what it seems, they say. Someone in pain, hoping someone else cares." Silence holds for a moment. You feel their eyes turn toward you, even before Rojas speaks your name. "Admiral Hale," she says, "you have spent more time than any of us near the Empire's borders. You designed half of our current quiet protocols. How do you see this? You let out a slow breath. In purely strategic terms, you say, the safest choice is to do nothing. Archive the signal. Watch the region harder. Stay quiet. That keeps Earth's risk minimal in the short term. You see Shaw give a faint nod. Lynn's shoulders ease. But strategy is not the only measure. You continue. We have an identity as a people. We chose long ago not to expand by conquest. We chose to help when we can. It's written into United Earth's charter and into Fleet's own mission. If we ignore a call like this, we damage that identity. We become a little more like the Empire we fear. Rojas watches you, eyes steady. And if answering the call leads the Empire to Earth, you meet her gaze, then that will be because they chose to act on our kindness, you say, not because kindness itself was wrong. We can act carefully. We can send a small, dark fleet. We can avoid bright transmissions. A group of 5 or 6 ships with rescue capacity, defensive teeth, and strict protocols. In and out if we can. Shaw winces slightly. Marcus, you know, in and out is a dream in situations like this. I know, you say. But if we go in looking for a fight, well, find one. If we go in looking to take people off a burning world, we might manage it before anyone big cares. The Empire cares about everything in its reach. Lynn says flatly, you know this. Not always, you answer. They have bigger wars of their own. Internal rotations, power games, we've seen them miss chances. They don't see everything. Dr. San, Park leans forward. Admiral, if we send ships and they find survivors, what then? Bring them to Earth. That's a much brighter signature. Not Earth, you say at once. We have quiet depots in the Oort cloud. We have the Luna gateways. We could bring them to a screened site, then decide the next steps. But first we need to know what is happening. Rojas steeples her fingers. Specialist Ortiz, she says, you woke us all up. You heard this first. You've now listened to an hour of high-level argument. With all due respect, what do you think? Jenna looks like she would rather sink through the floor. But she answers, I know I'm not a strategist, she says. I know there's risk. I just keep thinking about those 3 years. They called and nobody answered because it was too faint, or because our machines decided it didn't look important enough. We are only hearing them now by luck. If we stay silent again, it feels like saying that the only voices that matter are loud ones, strong ones. She swallows. I think we should go, she finishes, carefully, quietly. But go. You feel something soften in your chest. Chancellor Rojas looks around the ring. We will take a formal vote, she says. Option A, stay silent. Increase listening in that sector. No fleet action. Option B, respond with a minimal, low-profile fleet, under strict quiet protocols. Option C, respond loudly and openly, including a broad declaration that humanity is present and willing to help. C is off the table, Shaw says at once. We are not ready to announce ourselves to anything that might be listening out there. A few others nod, some with almost comic force. "Very well," she says. "We will vote on A or B. You know where I stand. I favor B. History will not forgive a rich world for watching a poor world drown if it had a rope and never threw it." She raises her hand. A green line appears over her tag, marking her vote. Slowly, hands go up around the circle. Shah's hand hesitates, then rises. "B," she says. With full operational control placed in Admiral Hale's hands, Lin raises his hand for A. Jaw clenched, the Mars representative chooses B. Dr. Park chooses B. 3 more choose B. 1 more chooses A. The count forms in the air. B wins. It is not a large margin, but it is clear. Rojas turns to you. "Admiral Marcus Hale," she says, "you are hereby given command of a limited response fleet. You will assemble from the San Diego, Luna, and L5 yards. You will depart as soon as possible. Your mission is to reach the source region of this signal, determine its nature, and if possible evacuate survivors without drawing major attention. You are authorized to use defensive force, but not to initiate a general war." Your mouth is dry. You have taken fleets to the line before. You have run rescue missions in burning orbits, shepherded damaged ships back to safe harbors. This feels different. Longer, deeper. "Understood," you say quietly. "I will take UES Dauntless as flagship. We will jump in dark. We will stay small and tight." Jenna's image turns toward you, eyes bright. "Admiral," she says before anyone can stop her. "Can I ask, will you take someone from DSMS? Someone who knows the signal well?" Shah looks annoyed. Rojas raises an eyebrow. You study Jenna for a moment, the earnest set of her jaw, the quick mind behind her eyes. She is young, but not fragile. "We will need strong analysis," you say slowly. "Real-time correlation as we get closer, to make sure we don't miss anything." Specialist Ortiz, are you prepared for long-duration deployment on a fleet vessel? Combat conditions, possible contact with unknowns? "Yes, sir," she says at once. Her voice shakes, but the word is clear. Shah sighs. "Marcus." "She found them, you say. If we're going to answer, it seems right to bring the person who first picked up the phone." Rojas smiles faintly. "Approved," she says. "Specialist Ortiz, you are seconded to fleet for the duration of this mission, with temporary rank upgrade to lieutenant for shipboard chain of command purposes." Jenna's mouth falls open just a little. "Yes, Chancellor, thank you." The council dissolves a few minutes later. Promises, reports, a flurry of secure messages. You close the simulation and find yourself back in your small San Diego kitchen. The first gray light of dawn is lifting behind the skyline. Your tea is stone cold. You stand there a long time, feeling the weight of an invisible map pressing into your skin. Then you straighten, set the mug in the sink, and start packing. 2 days later, San Diego spaceport burns gold in the setting sun. The launch tower rises above the city like a steel tree. Shuttles climb and fall in slow arcs. Families watch from the public terraces. Far out on the ocean, the gleam of the sky elevator marks a thin line between sea and space. On the secure side of the port, you walk across a quiet platform toward a waiting shuttle. The United Earth emblem glints on its flank, a round blue planet crossed by 3 white lines. Beside you, Jenna hurries to keep up. Her duffel bag looks too large on her shoulder. Her DSMS patch is still on her sleeve. A temporary fleet pin shines at her collar. You can still back out, you say mildly, not slowing your stride. I can have Shah assign another analyst. You could go back to your mountain and listen from there. She clutches the strap of her bag tighter. I don't want to listen from far away, she says. I want to hear what it sounds like, up close. Her eyes flick up to yours. Sir, you nod. Then welcome to the Dauntless. The shuttle door hisses open. Cool air spills out, smelling faintly of metal, fuel, and that odd, clean tang of shipboard life that you have never been able to name. You and Jenna climb inside. The door seals. Dauntless, this is Shuttle Courier. 3, the pilot says. We have Admiral Hale and Lieutenant Ortiz aboard, requesting final approach vector. A calm voice replies through the cabin speakers. Courier. 3, this is Dauntless Flight Control. Vector uploaded. We have you on track. Welcome home, Admiral. You close your eyes as the shuttle lifts. Gravity presses you gently into the seat. Through the small side window, San Diego falls away. Streets, towers, the glimmer of water, then clouds, then dark. The stars outside look close and bright, among them somewhere unseen. A faint, tired voice is still calling. You are going to answer. The shuttle banks, and there, ahead, U.S. Dauntless comes into view. She is not a pretty ship. Functional lines, a long central spine, wide forward hull, 4 drive rings spaced along her length. Her hull is a matte gray that eats sunlight. Weapons ports are dark circles along her flanks. Docking bays yawn open, waiting. To you, she is beautiful. Home, you say under your breath. Jenna presses her hand against the window. Staring. She's huge, she says. She's mid-size, you answer. Be glad you're not starting on a carrier. The shuttle slides toward the nearest bay. Guiding lights blink. At the last second, gravity shifts as the bay's artificial field catches the shuttle and turns its motion. There is a soft thump. The pilot powers down. Docking complete, the ship's internal AI says. You unbuckle, stand, straighten your uniform jacket, and step toward the door. The mission has begun. Outside this steel hull, far beyond familiar stars, a ruin world waits. Stars blur into lines. The jump field hums around the Dauntless like a deep, steady drum. The air tastes faintly ionized. On the bridge, the main screen shows a tunnel of stretched light, pale colors twisted into long spears. Crew move in slow, practiced motions, voices low. hands sure. You sit in the center chair, legs planted, back straight but relaxed. Old habit, you have been through hundreds of jumps. You know the body's tricks, the slight inner ear confusion, the sense that your bones are buzzing. Jump time remaining 12 minutes, says the ship's AI Athena. FTL envelope stable, formation holding. Status reports, you say. At your command, says Commander Idris Pi from the station on your right. Shielding stable, weapons cold but ready. All drives green. Escort ships report nominal. Cargo holds ready for intake. Behind you, arrays of smaller screens show the rest of your small fleet. U.S. Mercy, a hospital and rescue ship, U.S. Harrier and U.S. Yalta, fast frigates with sharp teeth, 2 cargo haulers refitted as evacuation barges. Together, you are not a battle group. You are a rescue with claws. On the left side of the bridge, Jenna Ortiz sits at a special station, surrounded by extra displays, lines of raw signal data flow. Across them, her hands dance over controls she learned fast in training. Dark circles sit under her eyes, but they shine. Signal status, you ask her. Still weak, sir, she says. Direction matches our target vector. Power is down another 3%. From last week, their transmitter is aging fast. Any signs that anyone else has answered? You ask. Negative, Jenna says. We've been listening with everything we've got since we left Saul. Nothing like our drive wakes or any known Imperial jump signatures in the last 6 months from that area. Good, you say. Let's keep it that way. Around you, the bridge crew keeps working. Foreign-eyed Joe says, Withing Commandant. Some are in their 20s, fresh out of academy. Some are older than you, pulled back from retirement for their experience. Eyes flick to you now and then back to their consoles. You know what they are thinking. We are going into Empire hunting grounds for strangers. We are going light and quiet, hoping no one larger notices. You are not here to pretend it is safe. You are here to make sure the risk is worth it. 10 minutes to jump exit, Athena announces. You let your gaze settle on the front display, on the strange, still flowing light. This is where it matters most. You say softly, more to the room than to any single person. How we arrive. Not like raiders, not like prey. We are here to help. We do it calmly, or we don't do it at all. A few crew glance toward you. You see a small smile on Commander Pake's face. He has heard your little speeches before. You fall quiet again. The minutes crawl. 3 minutes, Athena says. Brace for emergence. Transferring power from jump envelope to reactive shields in staged sequence. Transferring power from jump envelope to reactive shields in staged sequence. Jenna grips the edge of her console. Remember your first jump? She asks in a small voice, maybe to distract herself. Yes, you say, without looking away from the main display. I threw up. Do not do that on my bridge. There is a soft cough of laughter from a few stations. The tension eases a fraction. 15 seconds, Athena says. 10, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. The tunnel of light collapses. For a heartbeat, there is darkness. Then the stars come back. They are different here. You have never been in this part of space. The patterns are strange. A dense band of dust glows off to port. A wide gray smear with points of light like tiny fires within it. Dead ahead, a yellow-white star shines, steady and warm. Around it, faint lines mark the orbits of planets and stations. This is Sarath's system, Athena says. Athena says, constructing updated local map. No immediate high-energy signatures. No active Imperial drive fields. Detected within 20 light minutes. You let out a breath you didn't realize you were holding. Put the third orbit on main, you say. The view zooms in. Sarath fills the screen. At first glance, it is beautiful. Soft swirls of pale green and blue. Thin loops of cloud. 2 small white moons off to one side. Thin auroras curl at the poles. Then you see the scars. 3 dark bands run around the planet in uneven belts. They are not natural. They are long stretches of burned land and dead ocean too straight and wide to be anything but assault paths. Here and there thin lines cut across sea and land, the remains of orbital strikes, kinetic scars that run in glowing red where the crust is still hot. Huge patches of forest are black. Huge patches of forest are black. City clusters shine with faint light, then flicker and vanish. Magnify equatorial band, you say. The image blows up again. You see a landmass with gentle curves and bays, a little like a soft hand reaching into an ocean. Near the wrist of that hand sits a city, or what used to be a city, or what used to be a city. Glass blue towers lean or lie broken. Streets run in careful arcs, many now filled with rubble or black water. On the far edge of the city, a crater eats a wide hole where something heavy from orbit hit fast. There is still light, though. Here and there, pools of soft glow shine in the shape of domes and long strips. Some move, like lines of fireflies. Some blink. Life signs, you ask. Scanning, Athena replies. Atmosphere within safe range for humans with minimal adjustment. Oxygen heavy, slightly higher pressure than Earth's normal. Gravity at 90% of Earth's. Biosigns abundant. Civilization level emissions reduced by 68% from pre-attack readings, but not gone. There are survivors. You sit a little straighter. Jenna's hands shake over her console. Can we tie their signal to any surface structure? She asks quickly. See where it's coming from. Exactly. Triangulating now, Athena says. Correlating with external sensor input. Small markers appear on the planet's image. One turns red. There, Athena says. Source of main distress transmission is on the night side, southern hemisphere. High plateau region, non-standard structure. Size comparable to a large complex. deep power signatures. Old, Hugh asked. The field resonance does not match their other tech, Athena says. It is deeper, buried, very stable. The distress source may be older than the current city grid. A relic, Jenna says softly. A planetary SOS array, maybe from whoever built this place first. You file that away. If someone on Sarath found an old device and used it to shout into the dark, that changes the story. Any sign of Empire hardware, you ask. Your voice is back to full command mode. Athena pauses. The sensors work. There are Imperial ship hulls in high orbit, she says. 3 large wrecks. Several smaller, all cold. No active power. Identifying classes. On the display, outlines draw themselves around long, knife-shaped shadows. One is snapped in half, its front end wrapped in a cloud of frozen debris. Another is missing a whole third of its mass. These are consistent with Imperial Vanguard destroyer pattern. Athena says the damage suggests they were engaged by heavy ground to orbit fire and local defenses, no live Imperial signatures. Currently detected, so we missed the main fight, Pike says softly, or we're watching the surface after the first wave. Lynn's voice answers in your memory, though he is far away now. You push that aside. Any sign of active Imperial platforms or mines? You asked. Scanning, Athena says. Some structures in mid-orbit appear to have been Imperial control stations, all dark or destroyed. Faint emissions from a few unknown satellites. No clear Imperial codes. Bring us in, you say. Slow spiral. Minimum mission. I want us above that main city within 40 minutes. Exhorts to screen and map. Mercy, hold back and wait for my word before committing to low orbit. Understood, comes Mercy's captain over the channel, holding at high orbit. The fleet moves. On the main display, Sarath grows larger, filling the field of view. Cloud layers thicken, then part. You see more detail. Ocean surfaces look smooth and almost milky, broken by chains of islands glowing faintly with bioluminescent plants. Forests show as layers of glassy blue and pale green, like fields of frozen fire. Streams and rivers shine in soft teal, where something in the water lights itself. It's beautiful. Someone on the bridge murmurs. Remember the name they use for us, you say quietly. Deathworlders. That's how they see us, if they know anything at all. We come from a place with storms and predators and disease. Try not to live up to their worst fears. There is a small chuckle from a few seats. You mean every word. Athena, open a general tight beam on local space frequencies, you say. Low power, aimed at the main city. Use basic math primer, then simple visual key. Then this. You nod at Jenna. She taps a control. A new signal flies out from Dauntless, narrow and quiet, aimed like a tiny flashlight at Sarath's upper air. It carries numbers, prime sequences, simple geometry, then a crude image, a circle for a star, small spheres for planets, one marked in green, a simple human outline, hand raised. At the end, it carries something else, a short, clean tone, then a pattern matching the distressed signal, but softer, with a slow rising note after each burst. Jenna's idea, a way of saying, "We heard you." Signal away, Athena says. No reply yet. Let's give them time, you say. As Dauntless drops deeper into Sarath's gravity well, the view slides across the city. Closer now you see how strange and gentle it once was. Buildings are not harsh blocks. They curve and flow, tall and thin, made of some transparent material with veins of light inside. Streets wind in patterns that follow rivers and small hills, not straight lines. Trees grow up between towers, long trunks of glass blue wood that branch into curtains of glowing leaves. You also see ruin. Whole blocks have been flattened by blast waves from above. Towers lean or snap. Fires still burn in places, orange and green. Smoke drifts, slowly turning into long gray sheets across the sky. Thermal pockets, Athena says. Small arms. Not heavy armor. I detect no Imperial ground units with active IFF tags, but there are unknown combat signatures. Local factions. Paik says, maybe fights over food, power, anger. We are not here to police their civilization, you say. We're here to get people out of the worst of it and keep our ships from being turned into targets. Athena, find me a landing zone near the central intact structures, you continue. Big enough for 3 shuttles. Away from live fire, if possible. Working, Athena says. On the surface inside one of those still-lit structures, Elder Counselor Vari Sen stands at a high window and watches the sky burn, the tower that holds Vari Sen's council chamber leans. But it still stands. It rises from a base of pale stone and limbwood, its sides covered in panels that glow with slow patterns of soft teal and violet. In better days, the panels showed gentle flows of river maps and music. Now most are dark or cracked. Vari rests both of her hands on the edge of the window frame. Her fingers are long and thin, covered in fine, short fur the color of old ash. Each ends in a small, blunt claw. Her skin, where you can see it, has a soft, mottled pattern like dappled shade. Outside, the city breathes in pain. Far streets are blocked by fallen towers. Open courtyards are filled with makeshift tents. Plumes of faint smoke rise from cooking fires and from the black husks of broken transit cars. Somewhere close, a child wails in a high, thin voice that cuts across the low murmur of many others. Vara's second heart aches. The first beats steady and slow in her chest, pushing warm blood through ancient pathways. The second is a quiet old sadness that never stopped since the first Imperial ships appeared in their sky. We have word from the low wards, says a voice behind her. Another food depot was raided. No one died this time, Counselor. That is something. Wari turns. The speaker is here in young for this room. chest still marked with the pale stripes of recent adulthood. Their eyes are wide, their fur too clean. They wear a council sash that does not quite hang right on their narrow shoulders. No one died. Wari repeats softly. Yes, that is something. She turns back to the window. Her reflection wavers in the broken glass. Her muzzle is streaked with gray, the soft, short fur of her face dulled by dust and age. The lines around her large, dark eyes have deepened. Above the city, the faint trails of old orbital strikes still glow. The Empire's destroyers had burned Sarath's sky for 3 long days. Vari still sees them when she closes her eyes. Sharp shapes of metal, too straight, too bright, dropping fire. They had come after Sarath did something Sarath had never done before. They had used the old array. Vari had been among the first to stand in the ancient chamber. Deep under the southern plateau, in a room older than any of their written songs, they had found the ring, a perfect ring of machines and carved stone. No one on Sarath had built it. It had been there long before their people climbed from the forests. For many generations, it had been taboo to even speak of it, a thing of the first builders, not for soft people like them. But the Empire's shadows spread, and fear grew teeth when the Empire's vanguard ships took a nearby vassal world and sent its broken cities tumbling into their star. Vari had led a group of desperate counselors and scientists to the ring. The old devices had still worked. She can still feel the slow, thick vibration under her feet. When they activated it, the glow that filled the chamber. The sense of something waking up that had been trying not to, against the advice of the old songs. They had used it to send their grief into the dark. Someone is coming, Hiran says, voice thin with brittle hope. The arrays have picked up shapes in high orbit. They are not Imperial cuts. Different lines, different drives. They listen more than they scream. Vari's ears twitch up. Not Imperial? She asks, 2 words almost a prayer. Not by any record we have, Hiran says. Their fingers move in a nervous pattern against their sash. They sent us a math song. Vari's throat tightens. She closes her eyes for a moment. How long? She asks. Until they can touch down? Less than 1 short lightfall, Hiran says. Oh, Hiran says. They are turning now. Spiraling gently, not like knives, like careful hands. Vari exhales slowly. Alert the shelter halls, she says. Tell them to prepare for guests. And tell our people. She hesitates. Words are fragile tools. Tell them that help is coming, she finishes simply. But also tell them what our scouts saw on the old records. These are Death Worlders, from a place of deep storms and hard beasts. They may be gentle, or they may not know how. Hiran nods and hurries away. Vari looks back up at the sky. High above, a new dot of light brightens, moves, grows. On Dante's bridge, Athena pulls data from every sensor. Unidentified ground transmissions are rising, she says. I have detected several languages, 1 primary. I will attempt quick pattern lock. No high-power defense arrays targeting us. Some older ground batteries are cold or damaged. Any sign they're aiming anything at us? You ask. Nothing with teeth, Athena says. Mostly passive scans. A few small beam pings. Curious, not hostile. Good, you say. Launch shuttles. In the launch bay, 3 long, slim shapes sit ready.